Hi, my name is Josie Stoker and I'm the co-founder of the Nomadic School of Business. I'm currently recording this from my home in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and I'd like to say thank you so much to Grace and Salonia for having me to talk on the topic of should versus must. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I hope that what I have to say today will be of interest to some of you going through a should or must decision yourselves. So first, a little bit about me. I'm originally from the UK, as you can probably tell from my accent. I left 4 years ago, and since then I've had experience living and working in Malaysia, and then Australia, then Singapore, and now Mongolia, which is my home. My purpose and passion is to be the bridge between nomadic communities and today's organisations. So with my job I get to do research with nomadic communities, so whether that's like the Maasai or the Zulu people or nomads in Mongolia, I get to hang out with them and find out what makes them special, how do they thrive in some of the world's most unpredictable and harshest environments. But most importantly, what can today's organisations learn from these people? I then run workshops with leaders around Asia, whether that's multinationals or small non-profit organisations, helping them to nomadicize their business strategy and leadership methods. So one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this concept of should versus must was actually the decision that I made to take this job today and to co-found the Nomadic School of Business. I wanted to talk about that first and some of the challenges that I came across. I've had two chances at graduation. The first chance I worked in financial services. I moved to Malaysia. I worked in that job for around a year. It wasn't something that I was hugely passionate about. It wasn't quite what I was hoping it to be. I left and went through a mini life breakdown of I've left my first graduate job after a year, what on earth am I going to do? I actually went back to school at that time. I went to study a master's in business management in Singapore. That year went by pretty quickly, and I came up again with another choice of what exactly should I do when I graduate. I remember I had a list of pros and cons and different options, and I had to make a decision between whether to go down the strategy consulting route and stay in Singapore, or whether to do something slightly crazy, whether to move to Mongolia, a country that I'd never been to before, I didn't know anybody there, and help to create a business concept that was fairly new and pretty out there as well. So as you can probably guess, I chose the second option. And one of the most challenging things actually about that whole choice was not so much making it, although indeed that was quite challenging itself, but was also actually dealing with the reactions of friends, families, peers, and those around me. I remember I had a list with the pros and cons of each option, and I felt very strongly actually, especially based on my first experience of working, that really what you do, your job and your career, is actually what you dedicate your life to. You spend the majority of your time at work, the majority of your life at work, and if you don't really feel like you're super passionate about that, then I don't know. I just don't think it's the ideal way to phrase things, to always be looking for the week, looking forward to the weekend. Anyway, so for me, your work is what you dedicate your life to, and that helped me make the decision of doing what I'm doing today. What then came after that decision, however, was managing the expectations of others, and that was really difficult. I kind of felt like I spent so much time and energy convincing other people that I'd made the right decision, and it was exhausting, partly because I didn't really know what exactly I was going to be doing yet, but also partly because I feel it was so different from what other people were doing, going down a traditional graduate scheme role. Maybe it raised some questions for them about, were they really following their own passions as well? I don't know. It took a lot of time and energy trying to convince others that I'd made the right decision. And I've been thinking about that, and what I can actually liken it to is almost like if you're going off on an amazing adventure or an incredible hike or something like that. You head off on a journey, you tell other people all about what you're doing, and it's like you're trying to convince other people to come along with you. And it's almost like that. You have that feeling like you're looking over your shoulder, like, come on guys, it's going to be great, it's going to be an amazing adventure, but no one else is coming. And I think instead of looking over your shoulder, trying to convince others to come along and that it's going to be great, the most helpful thing that I did, and that perhaps I believe others could do, is to stop looking over your shoulder. Just go. because no one's coming with you, probably no one's going to tell you it's a great idea, and it actually doesn't matter as much as you think it matters in the end. It really doesn't make that much difference. And that was a big realization for me. I think, the concept of should versus must is of particular importance for graduates. And that's what I wanted to talk about now as well. It's, so many people when they graduate, I think we feel like we have, certain society approved or maybe parents approved or peer approved routes to go down, whether that's a traditional graduate scheme with a big company, whether it's something linked to what we've been studying, and that's what we should do. And I think it's instilled in a lot of us. You hear stories every now and again of people doing something, dramatically different when they graduate, but I haven't, most people don't, I would say, and it's really hard to do something different when your peers aren't doing it. I think at graduation, it's actually the most important time to do what you feel that you must do instead of what you feel that you should do. If you compare it to other periods of your life, I would say now's the time when we should be taking the biggest risks, because you probably don't have a mortgage, you probably don't have a young family, and it is probably going to be one of the easiest points in your life to actually do something crazy and to take that big risk. And if you're not going to do it now, when else are you going to do it? I feel like graduation is a particularly important time just to be aware, I think, of the decision that we're making and be aware of that should versus must decision. I think that career advisors could do a lot to help here, and also career fairs as well. So, if you walk into that room, do you look around and just see big companies there? Or do you look around and also see startups? Also see a few people that ask you questions like, what do you really want to do, and what positive impact do you want to have on the world? So that's very much my call to action. It's the careers advisors, and it's also, other people that are working with graduates, that are mentoring graduates. Ask that question: what do you want to dedicate your life to? And what do you think you should do versus what do you feel that you must do? Anyone that's interested in getting in touch with me to find more about Mongolia or what we're doing, please email me. I'll leave my contact details below. And I hope my experience has been helpful, and I hope that more graduates out there do it, go for it, take a big chance if you're ready, and or at least identify between what your parents are telling you should do, what your peers are telling you should do, and what those big companies are telling you what you should do, versus what you would love to do, what you would love to dedicate your life to. Thank you.